What up, guys? Jason Geiman here with PressureWashHelp.com, king of pressure washing. And today I met this guy. Actually, we met a long time. Actually, we never really met in person, but he has bought some stuff off of me, and he's always asked me some questions. And so today I have Brian Tompkins on here. He's up in Indiana, and I actually got to meet him in person at Washathon. He came to Washathon this year, and so we're going to talk tonight about how a school teacher, yep, Al's not the only one, a school teacher is going to do over $100,000 part-time. And yes, you can do that. I know some people think that when I say that, I'm doing it for clickbait. I'm not. There's people you can do $100,000. We just talked to, I just talked to Nick not too long tonight, right before this, and if he didn't get hit by a car and on his motorcycle, he would have did over $100,000 his very first year out of it. So, Brian, tell me who you are. Who are you? Where you're from? You know, do you got kids, family, that kind of stuff?
All right. Yeah, Brian Tompkins. I'm up in Goshen, Indiana. It's right on the Indiana-Michigan line, close to Notre Dame. I'm married. My beautiful wife, Lori, and I have two kids. One's a sophomore in high school, and one's a junior in college. School teacher. I'm just a shop teacher at split time between a high school construction class and a middle school woodworking.
Awesome. And so how did you become so you were a teacher. How long have you been teaching for?
Gosh, this is like my 24th year in teaching.
Awesome. And how did you get into teaching? Is that something that when you was a little kid you wanted to be a teacher and just go out there and you were just smart enough to go get that stuff? Or
I think I always loved shop class in high school. Had a really good shop teacher. And, profession when you have the summer off always sounded good to me.
Awesome. And so as a teacher, is that something that you love to do to help, kind of help kids these days? Because, they don't always get that father figure of knowing what a hammer is, pretty much, or, what's the difference between a metric and a standard, adjustable wrench. So is that something that you kind of like to do and just to help these guys out and stuff?
Absolutely. When, dealing with kids and, if they've never used a hammer before or, reading a tape measure. Trying to get these kids today to be able to read a tape measure. They're used to too many shortcuts on the phone that they should be able to look that up. But
well, don't they make tape measures with like 16th and quarter and all that stuff?
Yeah. And I've ended up buying those for class, so we get a lot less mistakes that way.
Awesome. So what made you want to start pressure washing? What was the thing that was like, I want to start a pressure washing business?
It's kind of a funny story. Well, one, I've always done side work. I've done construction. I've done just different type of work like that. But for my daughter's graduation party, my gutters on my house were absolutely horrible. And it was either buy new gutters or figure out how to get them clean. And honestly, did some YouTube work. And I don't know what the guy's name is. Dan's
vlog.
But Dan's vlog. I found Dan's vlog, and he showed how to clean gutters. So I went out and tried that, and actually worked great. And during her graduation party, I talked to a few people, and had a couple ask me to come do theirs. And from there, I think I found you shortly after, and learned how to downstream. And from there, it just took off.
Awesome. So, so when you did this, actually, this guy's not too far from you, $1 Million Landscape Guys. He's up in Gary, Indiana. Yep. So he's not too far away from you. So when you started pressure washing, what was the thing was this something that you thought you could make a business out of it? Was you just trying to make some extra side cash or what?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Honestly, I'm trying to pay for my daughter's college. This was my way of, paying her tuition. And I started out doing handyman type work and got into this. And then honestly thinking about scaling a business, It's a whole lot easier to teach someone to spray water than it is to do handyman work.
Yeah, it is. Again, you got to
A
read
lot
the tape
easier.
measure and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So, um, so when you started pressure washing, I know you had contacted me. I believe it was in the spring or last year about mixer valve and all that kind of stuff. Did you build your own rig, or did you have one built, or what?
Oh yeah, no, I built my own rig. I've actually it's almost ready to come out. My first setup. I did it out of I'm a woodworker. I made it out of wood, plywood, and 2x4s, 12 by 12s going over the edge to mount my hose reels, and just used a ladder rack to haul my ladders. So,
So you're
but
just
I didn't
running? Are
spend
you running
much.
out of the back of your pickup truck then?
Yeah. Yep,
Okay.
I'm running out of an F-150. I'm running two 65-gallon tanks in there. One my water, water and one mix. So,
Gotcha. And then are you just got your hose reels up on the side there, and that's it
yep.
then? Are you got a 4 gallon, 8 gallon, 10 gallon?
I run five and a half.
5.5 gallon pump. Awesome. And so when you started to pressure wash, how did you start getting customers? Did you just go? Obviously, you said you did it there, but how did you start getting customers?
Facebook, I started off with. Just started a Facebook page. Started posting there every day. Then I started. My first signs were horrible, but started using yard signs, and I put out a ton of yard signs. If I don't have the time, I pay someone to go out and put them. Normally, it will tell them where I want them, and I'd say invest if you're going to do a sign, invest in a good sign. List one service and put your phone number as big as you can.
So,
And,
so last year, when did you first start pressure washing? Was that last year, 2019, or?
uh, right at the end of 2018 season for us, so probably August, September of 18, and so then I went kind of full time. Up here in the north, it's pretty much all of 19, and then this year was when I really hit it hard.
So what did you end up doing in 19?
Uh, I don't have those numbers. If you're asking me to guess, I'd probably say, man, if 30,000 tops.
So you went, so you $30,000 your first year. What was the thing of, I want to, Jason says you can do this. What was the thing that make you really want to hit that? What was, I guess the first thing, what was your goal for 2020 when you started in the beginning of the year?
I haven't been good at setting goals in the past. And I think going into this year, because I don't start planning really the season out until probably
The
what,
season starts.
March. Yeah, March. And with the whole COVID thing, I had no idea what to expect. I didn't know how much money I should invest because I wasn't sure what the market was going to be like. And April hit, and they shut the schools down, and the phone just blew up. Um, so
So the phone blew up in April, and then it's gonna be a good year for you.
yeah.
So when you doing this, what was your kind of thought behind this? Is this something that I can really make this happen, or that kind of thing?
I think in 2019 when I started doing more and more and actually put a truck together, and that I had one customer that called me out for a job, and it was one of those calls you the Saturday before Memorial Day and says, I've got a Memorial Day party and I got to get this done. And when he told me that, I don't know, the big dog in my area was booked out until the end of July, he was over 12 weeks booked out. That told me that there was a market in my place and a lot of money to be had.
So that's a good point. How much competition do you have in little Elkhart, Indiana?
I think right now, I mean, there's one big company that runs about 4 box trucks, and everything else is, guys pretty much, doing it for beer money and so forth.
So up there, what's like the pop? Do you know what the population
Yeah.
of what you
I
up
have
there?
no- I would say, I was going to compare it to Cincinnati, but we're way smaller than Cincinnati.
I was
So,
going to say you're probably about half the size of Indianapolis, aren't you?
oh, not even that. Not even that. No, in my particular area. South Bend is probably half of Indianapolis, and that's about 30 minutes west of me.
All right. So once you started that and you got going there, you decided to come to Washathon this year,
Yeah.
and I never met you, and I was glad to meet you, and so I'm one other reason why I'm saying that my class isn't full this weekend. You can go to Pressure Wash Help or go to this website right here, training dates, and because somebody's asking that question, but. What have you learned? What was some things that you took away at Washathon that you will help a new person taking off or getting along that way? What's some things that when you came to Washathon, what was your kind of thought behind it, and then when you left, what was that kind of thing?
I think my biggest want going to Washathon was just, I think it was relationship building. I wanted to be around people that have done more than I have. And I went to Washathon thinking I was going to be the little guy there, and just kind of learn from everybody. And man, I tell you what, Washathon in the sense of getting those, meeting people that have some similar mindsets and getting to know the presenters. The presenters made themselves so available for one-on-one communication. Heck, I got in the hotel the night before, went up, I had to do a couple quotes, and all of a sudden Bobby's posting live on YouTube, and I'm like, whipped out the estimates as fast as I could and shot down. And man, there were three of us there, one-on-one with him for 2 hours, and then you guys showed up, and I think we stayed out just talking in the main lobby until 1 o'clock.
Yep. And that's the thing that, anytime you go to a live event or my trainings, I try to do the same thing. Sometimes my training's a little bit harder because we're not all at the same hotel. But yeah. I do try, like when I go down to, so Elkhart is about 52,000. Thank you, Steve, or Scott. So Elkhart is not very big at all because Cincinnati is actually 300,000 people. So when you compare that to that's not a lot of people when you're comparing. So that's actually awesome. But getting back to it, Washathon is something that, or any in-person training is something that, that is how you get your business to the next level. Do you think by coming to Washathon, so you're going to do $100,000 this year, do you think that by coming to Washathon, you'll be able to do more than that next year?
Oh, yeah. I mean, one thing I couldn't do this year is Google My Business. I had if you want to explain it, I had a serious mess up with Google My Business where I couldn't even get reviews all year long. And you sat down with me, 15, 20 minutes maybe, and grabbed his computer, did his magic, and next thing, boom. And now, what I tell you today, I was at 46 five-star reviews and ranking, towards the top in most of the categories.
So Brian comes up to me and he's like, "Here's my phone." And
I did not. You said, "Give me that thing."
And he's like, "I can't get my Google My Business to work." Now, he's been working on this since spring because I've been trying to talk him through it since spring. And it's kind of hard to talk through things when you're dealing with, trying to, somebody that, not saying, it's just somebody that don't know what Google My Business is and how it works. I'm trying to tell him. So he comes to Washathon and he gives me his phone and I'm doing something. I give myself access to it. And about 10, 15 minutes later, I'm like, all right, you're done. So what happened is, and this can happen sometimes is what can happen is you get too many Google My Business. He had two different Google My Business, and the pressure washing one, they actually canned it. And so they wouldn't allow that one to show. So I had to go and change the other one and do some other things. I changed his website for him and all that kind of thing. And I think when we did it, you had 24 reviews or 25 reviews.
I think it was 24 or 25, yeah.
And then when we came on, I told him he had to get to 50 reviews. So he's at 46, so that's pretty good. I still see him come in. I'm going to have to get off there if he keeps getting too many 5-star reviews, so I don't have to see all those. But, that's something that I think that, that right there alone, how much do you think that's probably worth to your business right now?
I can't, honestly, it could be $50,000. I mean, easily.
And so you told me where are you ranking at right now when you looked it up earlier
Well,
today?
right before we got on, I did a power washing near me, and I was at the top.
Yep.
I was
And the other thing
in
is
the
just
feedback.
be careful when you're doing that too. Make sure you're going and checking it at the school, checking at different places and see where you're ranking at just because you do that. And we also want to make sure you're doing it in incognito mode. That way, if your phone is knows it, it will just come up even. But I do know that you are coming up because I actually searched you from here and it was coming up from here. So I know that it's working and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So
All the information you gave me too, with naming the pictures before uploading them, using your keywords in your response to your reviews. So
And that's something that you do really, really well. Your responses are amazing. Like I wanted to steal some of them just because they are so good, and I'm not even joking. You do some very well keywords, and you write out a lot of stuff. And I got him up. I got him actually up here right now. And one of his responses. So the guy gives him a good review. He says, Robert, thank you for the kind words. Power washing or soft washing a home can bring that polished look back. Your home was a great example. The deck cleaning was my favorite part of the job. We replaced a few boards and then cleaned it. It was amazing transformation. I look forward to our next service, roof cleaning and driveway cleaning in 2021. That right there is an amazing response. If you're not leaving responses like that, you are leaving a lot of. You're just. I mean, and he's doing this to all 46 responses, and so that is what we want to do. And there's other things on there like thank you, Don, it was a pleasure completing the work with you, pressure washing, fence cleaning, house washing, and window cleaning, and surface cleaning. And so these are some really good responses. These are things that will make other customers be like, man, he is amazing. Brian is the king of pressure washing in his area. And that's what we want at the end of the day. We want people, to come look at our reviews and be like, I want that guy right there. Now, some things that I would suggest for you to do is kind of get some pictures of you pressure washing because you don't have many pictures of you. And the reason why we want to do that is we want to build that know, like, and trust, and then they'll buy from us. And so that is something that, is definitely something you want to do at the end of the day.
yeah, my hardest thing with that, working by myself so much, it's hard to take a picture of myself.
Well, you've made enough money. They make this thing called a tripod,
There you go.
and you can set it up and shoot either stills or all kinds of things. And like I say, they make this thing called a tripod. I think they're $20-$30. It's not going to break you, and go from there.
I could use that GoPro I bought, huh?
Yeah, or the GoPro you bought. Any of that's because GoPro makes it real easy to pull a snippet out of it too, and so
Yeah.
that kind of thing. So, somebody's asking. This is a good question because I don't, what CRM are you using?
I'm using the customer factor.
So the
And I
customer.
will say it was a little difficult at first. I found it hard to use at first, but the more you use, the easier it gets. And I mean, I guess it's like any good technology, though. The more you work with it, the easier it gets.
Yeah, and that is true. It is tough. It's a little clunky. The customer factor can be, it's just kind of, it's a simple old technology because
I feel like their phone app is really behind. I like it, but if I don't remember to put the job on the day, I have to go into my web browser and actually go into the customer factor and schedule the job if I had forgotten to do it. And so just not as easy, not as user friendly as I would like, but it is
gotcha.
a good program.
Yeah, and so that is one. That one you got House Call Pro, Jobber, any of the ones of the lower end, you're going to be at that. You're going to be at 40, $50 a month at the end of the day. Um, Jason, great words of wisdom. Love the show. No reason anyone to completely following tactics. So we get into 100 grand this year, and just pressure washing. Now, are you working 5 days a week, or how are you working? What days are you working, and how are you working to be able to get to that part?
I'm mostly just right after school. I get out of school at 3 o'clock, so I work three. Right now, I'm trying to, at least get one job a night done. But I will say up our way, it's really slowed down, obviously with the weather and so forth.
So you're actually going to work, school, and then you're doing some in the afternoon and night,
Yeah.
or afternoon. Do you work much weekends, or do you take the weekends
I
off?
try not to, but bigger jobs. I think last weekend I did a big roof and house last weekend. So maybe one Saturday a month.
So you're pretty much working part time then.
Oh yeah. But I bust butt over the summer.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So we run hard. I take a helper on over the summer, and so yeah, I make the majority of my money over the summer months.
Yeah. So, what? Let me come back here because I want to make sure.
Hey, while he's doing that, Jobber guys, for a free CMR to get started with, it was a good one for me to get started. Not Jobber, Joist.
Joyce.
Joist was one that I was a free one to get started, but definitely get a CMR when you start. Get those email addresses so you've got a customer. It's so important to have. So, I mean, a free one's better than nothing.
So one of the guys put here, late to the show, but a shop teacher. Wow, I haven't seen a school with a shop in it since I was in high school 20 years ago, assuming you're teaching high school and younger. And he's got all his fingers. He's got all his digits, too.
All 10. So, yeah, we actually have brought it back in our area just 2 years ago, where we're teaching full construction at the high school. And actually doing woodworking now at the middle school.
And that's something awesome because, there's a lot of money for these kids that can make a lot of money doing the construction and shop side of things that, a lot of times they're not taught this anymore, I mean, I worked at the firehouse and we had guys that had never mowed grass, never used a lawnmower, didn't know how to turn it on, didn't know nothing about a lawnmower.
Yeah. And now with me teaching between both middle school and high school, I've got one kid now, he's a sophomore, and I've had him 4 years straight. So.
And, there's money in the trades. There's a lot of money that they can go out there and make a good living doing this stuff at the end of the day. If you're not afraid of working hard, there's a ton of money to be made in it.
And that's one reason our school's brought it back. I mean, if you know Elkhart, it's the RV capital of the world. So the job market up here, there's tons of work. I mean, every place has a help wanted sign out right now for the RV factories and so forth.
Because they can't get workers.
Getting good workers, ones that can tape measure.
So what has been the best way to get customers for you?
I would never say don't use Facebook. I think I've got a lot of good customers from Facebook, but the yard signs are my go-to. And like I said before, one service on the sign, phone number as big as you can, and make them look nice. Don't buy a cheap sign. There's too many companies out there that sell them at a good price. But, you get a bad sign out there, I can put one of my signs right next to it, and I almost guarantee they're going to call mine before the others, just because I spend a little bit extra.
Well, a lot of times you don't put all the extra crap on it either, though. That's,
Yep.
They want to put, I seen one today, I actually took a picture of it, and they paid the high dollars for the signs, and they put them up high, and they've done all that stuff, and his first batch of signs was good. Well, this sign, he's got house washing, but then he had to go put all these other services on there, and then a phone number, which made the phone number smaller.
Yeah.
And now you can't read the phone number. You can see house washing, but you can't read the phone number so far away. You got to be right up on it, And it's like, get rid of all that other crap and just focus on that phone number and one service. That is the most.
Well, they're going to drive by and take a picture of it. And when they're there, take a picture of it. And if they can't read your phone number, you just lost that customer.
Yep, 100%. And that's something that, you don't want to lose. That's money in the bank at the end of the day.
Yeah, and I'll tell you the other is I mean spent the money on a wrap for my truck, and I've actually got a job or a call in like a McDonald's drive-through. Car two back from me calls me while I'm still there. Hey, can I get it? You know, can you come look at my house? Give me an estimate. And so we were taking lunch and shot over and did an estimate right after that.
So somebody was asking, should I get Square credit card reader? If you use the CRMs, usually you can pay through the CRMs, and that kind of takes care of all that kind of information. Um, you know, I did get the Square reader. It's not something that I did a lot. Because a lot of times we never see the customers, and honestly, I like not seeing the customers.
That's
So
always nice. I do have a Square reader in my truck, and I've had people that have insisted on using. They want the points, so I've got it. It doesn't cost me anything. And honestly, when I first started, I would charge them the percentage, the 3%. And this year I stopped doing that.
let's
But
talk about that, because how have you gotten your prices up to? Are you just a $99 guy or a $199 guy, or what is your? Do you know what your average ticket is right now?
my average ticket from last year to this year, I would say went from about 250 up to this year at probably around 600. And it's all because of packages, guys. I mean, that and I added window cleaning. I got a water-fed pole, and that thing is just a cash cow. I mean, you add it on, add it as a package, and I mean, you can do a big house in less than an hour.
And so you're talking about exterior window cleaning. You don't
Yes,
do
exterior.
interior.
I do not go inside and do any windows.
And so your average ticket is $600.
Yeah.
Okay, so packages. How important are packages? Is this something that we just do on some jobs, or do we need to do it on all the jobs?
Every job. I
Every
don't
job.
care if they call and ask for, I just want the house washed. That's fine. Well, next year when you want to upgrade, here's the price, so you've got it for next year. Whatever it is, at least add something extra to have them look at.
Yep, and packages is definitely, like you said, you get it up to 600. I mean, that's the key, is getting that average price up, so that way we can do less jobs and make more money. A lot of times people think, oh, I'm just trying to get in business. I'm going to just be cheap so I can get customers, and that's the
It
worst.
costs you money. It costs me money. I've only got so much time every night. I can't go do a job for $150 or $200. That time frame is too valuable.
And is it better to do three $200 jobs or one $600 job? I'll take the one $600 job, and it probably takes you just as long as the other three jobs, or one of the three jobs that it took you in the first place.
When you get running right, guys, you can make. I mean, a 1,500 square foot house should be at least a $300 bill before any of the upgrades, and it should be done in an hour and a half at the most.
So Brian has a secret package. I'm not going to give that package away because I love that package. That's going to be a package that is going to be in my membership only spot, because that package right there is the bomb. So
Especially just a basic premium and pro.
Yep. And you do want three packages. Whenever you're bidding this stuff, you do want three packages. You really, if you get four or five, that can, you can do four, but three is really where you want to be at. And even for you, what's the most common package? The bottom, the middle, or the top one?
Middle's always the most popular, but you're gonna have some people that always want the best job you got.
And how many pick the lowest one usually?
Only the people that are searching for prices.
Yep. And so I would say it's probably, I bet it's only about 15 to 20% that is going to pick that small one. So, they called for a house wash, and now we've done upsold them for that middle package that is $200-$300 higher than, or $150, whatever, higher than that low package.
Yeah. And guys, figure out rust removal. Okay? I mean, when you show up to a house and you see a little bit of rust on a house, know how to take it off. Okay, it's not a hard process. Most of the time, it's just a small area, 15, 20 minutes. You can make another 75 to $100.
You're just getting that high ticket up there, aren't you?
I love it. Did it the other day. Got done with a full house wash, and I said, "You got some rust over in this area." Was it while I'm here? Is that Cody saying?
While I'm
I'm here, I can take care of that rust for you. So you always have your rust removal material in your truck.
So, I talk this stuff, and a lot of times I don't think people believe it. But is it hard to believe to walk home with the money in your pocket from as well as pressure washing is? Would you have ever
Well,
thought, being a
yeah,
shop teacher, to think that you can make that kind of money just spraying water?
no way. No, I wouldn't have guessed it. But yeah, yeah, it's amazing. I mean, but I tell you what, you wouldn't believe how many people will pay what they pay for what we do, and they're thrilled when you leave. They are absolutely happy to pay you.
Tell me a little bit about that. How do you find these customers, and how do you? I mean, I know we talked about it, but how do we want to talk to these customers to make them want to feel thrilled and everything?
Well, you got to make them know that you're upping your property value. I mean, your curb appeal for a home is everything. And when them when they come home from work, they pull in that drive. I mean, they see the gutters just bright white. They don't see algae on their house, or they look out their window and their windows are clean. I mean, one of the worst things you can do is leave soap streaks on a person's window, because even though they were happy when you left, they go to their kitchen window and look out and they see that soaps streak down the middle of your window. Then they're second guessing what they paid.
Right. Now, do you do in-person quotes or just
Yeah,
online?
that's the tough one for me. And this year, actually, with the COVID thing, made me learn how to do them, and has made me more efficient. I mean, I'm doing 95% of mine virtual. Go on to Google Earth. Always ask the customer phone number, email address, how many square feet is your home. Get on Google, look at the house. I mean, once you start doing it, you can look at a house, it's 2,000, 2,500 square feet. You've already got it in your head or in your CRM. If I plug it in, I got preset prices pretty much set for any size house.
Awesome. Awesome. So, tell me one thing that you failed in your business and three things that you learned from it.
First thing was no CRM. The first year that just killed me. I didn't get anybody's email. I thought the best thing was to do text, and I did everything from text, and not having that almost that first probably 6 months of I lost all those emails where I can't contact any of those customers. Second, probably not getting Christmas lights set up for this year would be another one I've messed up, because I'm probably losing a ton of money this year not doing Christmas lights, because now that I've got that customer base and all those emails, yeah. So those are two. Is that what you wanted to, or do you want one more?
Yeah, no, you're fine. And what did you learn from the failure? Obviously, you learned that you can't send
I lost
emails
money.
and stuff, and you
Yep.
lost money and left money on the table.
Yeah.
And honestly, even if I was you, and if you wanted to do Christmas lights, I would still look at buying some signs, throwing them out there, and see if you can get some work from it. To be honest with you, so
Yeah. I might. Yeah. That training you did at Washathon was I never knew you could cut the lights like that so you can personalize lights for a house like that.
And I
guys,
mean, if you went and did one house a night and made, $2,000, and that's no joke. Our average ticket is $1,800. Donovan, his average ticket is $1,700. So, if you could go do one Christmas light and make $1,500 to $2,000, it's not too
you're
bad of a night.
yeah, your training on installing lights. There were three huge nuggets in that in there for installation. That would save you a ton of time and safety. The safety portion, a couple of things you shared in there, and doing trees. That little pole setup you've got.
Yep. And so, talking about that, you can go to kingofpressurewashing.com/training dates, and I will be having a training on Christmas lights in Raleigh, and it's going to be even better than that, because it's all hands on. You get to do it. You get to do, and whether it's the pressure washing side or it's the Christmas light side of things, you get to do it. That's one thing that Washathon you don't really get to do is you don't really get the hands on, because we're talking 50 people here, and so that is one thing that you can go in and handle and do it, and that's important. I had stayed late on what was that Saturday, and that was when before we were showing. I was kind of showing my boxes and everything that I use in my box, and there were things that that the shop teacher has been doing this for a year and has made $100,000 and never changed an O-ring out, and so
take care of your equipment. You don't have to.
yeah. So I was, and that's something that I teach because a lot of people don't understand or know how to get that out of there and that kind of stuff. So, but yes, so that's something that you can definitely go check out and see that also.
Hey, Jason, can I jump in? One thing you said, mistakes people can make. I can tell you right now, all the work I've done. I think I told you I've got a wood setup for the back of my truck. My entire setup cost less than $4,000, and that's including the enclosed trailer that I normally tow with me. 5.5 gallon machine, 2 tanks, a couple cheap hose reels, and then I've got a roof, a box I made with my own roof pump, and all. So don't overspend for equipment until you're making the money.
Right. So,
anyway.
No, that's a good point because that's something that a lot of times I see some people go and they spend a lot of money on equipment and they go spend all this other money everywhere else, and then I'll be like, well, how much you spending on marketing? Well, I spend $500, or it's like, no, I would rather you spend $5,000 on marketing and $500 on equipment at the end of the day because you can't make money by having the most beautiful equipment there. It's not going to bring you money at the end of the day.
Yeah, your equipment doesn't make your phone ring.
No, and that's the whole thing at the end of the day is how do we get that phone to ring? So,
yeah. And I did a heck of a lot of work with a 3-point something to start off with, 3.2 gallon a minute. You can wash a house with it until you got enough money to buy a bigger pump.
So, in business, a lot of times it's about mindset, and the mindset is, how do we overcome mindsets and things that we encounter in business? So, tell me one fear that you had to overcome to be able to be successful in pressure washing business.
Pricing. At first, I just wanted to get every job I bid, and I mean, and in the mindset of thinking there's that $99 guy out there. And over time, I've realized I don't want the customers that are going to pay $99 to wash the house. I want the customer that is going to pay for service and the experience over price points.
So what you're saying is you are not your customer, right?
Yeah, no. I'm not my customer because I wouldn't pay my prices for washing my house.
So who is your customer?
My customer is someone that they're worried about what their house looks like more than what it's going to cost them. And that's not always the houses in the biggest neighborhoods. There are people that will pay a good price for customer service, for you answering your phone, for doing what you say, and don't overpromise. What's the saying? Underpromise, overdeliver. Yeah, I mean those things, and being upfront and honest. And if you have a problem at a house, let the customer know. Don't let them find it later, because that it'll come back and hurt you.
When your J-Rod goes through the window or something.
Yeah. Crack something or something.
The stupid lawn, the lawn lights fall over all the time. You break them.
Yeah. Pull your hose through the lights. Yeah.
No, that is really good because at the end of the day, we are not our customer, and that is a huge fear. That whether we are pressure washing, we're doing Christmas lights, we're doing other things. Pricing is one of the hardest things that people cannot get their head over. And so you do handiwork a lot of times in the wintertime. Has that pricing it, does that kind of go up now since you are knowing what your worth is?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, from learning what I've learned through power washing and pressure washing, yeah, I mean, it's just made me more aware of what my time is worth, and being more organized with that. Getting to know your numbers is everything. In that side, if anybody's going to do handyman type work, charge a service call to come out for the first half hour, then price your jobs accordingly. It's always better to price your jobs versus working hourly. So I always charge an $85 service call for the first half hour, and normally then I'll have my prices for different things set up. So I try to let them know before I get there.
No, that's perfect. So, there's another school teacher on here was saying, how do you answer your phone at school?
Can't answer your phone at school.
Somebody put very quietly.
No, I mean I will say in my situation, that being in the shop and everything, it does make it much easier. I do my demonstrations for my students. I get them busy. I kind of sit back and let them work through it because I'm not there to help them through every little problem they have. I want them to work through the problem. So.
And
But
there's
I don't.
answering
I
services.
try not to. In between classes, I'll reply to a text, but I won't answer my phone during. I mean, not even during my prep hour. I may have calls that I make during my prep time, but I won't answer my phone.
And there's answering services out there,
Yeah.
there's answering services out there, Jill's office, bid slot, different things that you can use to help do that kind of stuff. I think moving forward, he's talking about hiring somebody or putting your brother in or somebody in there to help take that way he can answer that phone, and that right there might help. Who knows how much more to get you to the next level.
Because I mean, doing in-person estimating is always going to be better for you if you can, because you can see what they need that they may not know they need. Like the rust removal. When I'm on site, if I see rust, I can say, hey, I can get you a price on the rust removal, or I won't even ask. I'll put it in the quote anyways. I'll do my packages, then say, I noticed this. If you want this taken care of, I can take care of this. But all for the window washing. Well, you actually told me to change up my pro package a little bit with adding the window washing into that higher, and then adding the driveway cleaning as an add-on.
Yeah, that way if you get to do the driveway, because unless you love doing driveways, which I don't, I want to make sure that for them to get that driveway, it's going to cost them a whole lot. So that way it went from a $600 package to $1,000 package for them to get that driveway cleaned. So
Yeah. I always try to make my packages, well, I guess depending on the house, I try to get that my highest package up into that $800-900, so it'll settle back into where I think it'll fall, where I think they'll go for.
now, do you give discounts at all, or other than just the package
My
discounts?
packages are my discounts.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was
I'm
thinking.
not into discounts.
Me neither. It's not worth it. I mean, I'll give a discount because it looks like a discount, but it's going to be in my package deal.
Yeah, that's how I basically my packages are my discount.
Right. And so, if you was a new guy starting all over from the stuff you've learned from the last year and 2 years, what would you tell yourself right now?
CRM, spend more on marketing than equipment, and answer your phone.
That's I don't know if I've ever said that or not. It's like I say it every week. Them are the 3 most important things you can do.
I've been listening to you for a while, man. And I tell you what, the further I get along, the last one's the hardest. Answer your phone. It's hard. Because I work as fast as I can on a lot of houses, and to stop and answer that phone is hard. So.
And that's where, like I say, you can use Jill's. There's services out there. You can maybe your wife. If you really want to get good clothes and have a female answer that phone, that will actually help your close rate go up quite a bit. You'd be surprised by having a female answer the phone. That is something that I've seen it over and over and over that a female can close usually a higher percentage rate than a guy can. And so I know that sounds silly or stupid sometimes, but and here's the other thing about a female answering the phone. A lot of times us guys want to try to sell the female that we're trying to sell to. We want to sell them something because we have this thing that we can sell them, and they don't want that. They just want their house cleaned. And if you can go talking to them and a female can talk back and forth, they'll sell it like that. And a female don't usually always care about prices. You tell them a price, like if we set them up on a range of this is this and this, you can bump it up and they'll just keep selling it at that because they don't know no different at the end of the day, and they don't see the time difference, and they don't know any of that kind of stuff. And so a female will usually sell higher, and they will sell more at the end of the day. So that's something that I see it over and over and over. All right. The hard sell is telling your wife you need to spend more money on marketing. That's where you got to not spend as much on equipment sometimes and make sure we're spending it on marketing. Is what
ask her if she wants the phone to ring or if she wants you working more hours.
Right. So, let's see how long we've been on here. 45 minutes. See, I told you to go fast, dude.
Yeah,
we got 87 people in here. He was worried to death over here. Yeah. Brian. No, yeah. I really enjoyed Washathon down there with you. Like I say, and like he said, I sat there and we talked. I bet we talked probably 10 hours over the 2 or 3 nights of, hanging out there, and that was a lot of one-on-one time with me and some of the other guys of just sitting there hanging out and giving you information. And honestly, that's where you learn a lot. And even if you're a brand new guy, maybe you're a brand new guy and you don't know how to, you don't want to ask questions because you don't want to feel stupid. A lot of times when you get 3 or 4 guys around and you're all learning together, somebody will say that question that you're thinking of it,
Just listen.
Just listen, I'm trying to think the guy that was from Illinois, Judd. Was it Judd or Jeb? The dude that was from Illinois is that he had never pressure washed. He had never, he was a horse guy. The horse trainer dude. Mm-hmm. And, he was very quiet, but, you could just see him sucking all that information in there. And I would sit down and talk with him and kind of get to know where he was at and all that kind of thing. And so that is the thing that will help you get further because, like I say, especially if you're all new and you kind of get to that point of, well, I did this or I did this and it worked. I did this and it worked. And, as an entrepreneur, a lot of times we're usually kind of out on our limb by ourselves anyway. We're in that point of, a lot of our friends are doing the 9-to-5 job and we're hustling and, we're working after school and we're trying to do billing and we're trying to do all marketing, and it happens all day and all night, weekends and that kind of thing, which, we want to make a work-life balance so we don't work all the time. But, my wife's always like, Jason, do you ever turn your brain off about work? Nope. I'm always thinking about something that I can do, And like we had Greg on here on the earlier one, and, Greg is the same way now. He never thought of it, and now you just keep thinking. I mean, do you ever not think about pressure washing in business and stuff?
No, there's always trying to find more ways to get the phone to ring. More calls, the better it is.
And so that's the great thing about pressure washing and being an entrepreneur. It is something that you can set your schedule. It is something that you can set, and is it easy? Has this been an easy journey for you?
No, there's bad days. You learn from your mistakes.
And so tell me about, that's a good one. That's a good question. Tell me about that a little bit. Tell me how it can be like a roller coaster sometimes. One day you're like, woohoo, and next day everything breaks down, you break stuff and all that kind of stuff.
Break something or kill some plants on a roof wash. I tell you what, I mean, Washington was my first thing I went to,
Right.
and just sitting and listening, like you said, I mean, the little nuggets you get from those conversations can be worth the money you pay for your training or the Washington, or I mean, you and I'm going to forget who said it, but they were talking about the tips for their roof cleaning, and because I didn't know better, I was just using my I was using my regular J rod for my roof cleaning, and these guys are like talking about the tips and different open. I mean, I was like, huh? All of a sudden, next day, you're handing me a tip, say try this, and Aaron's saying, use the point, different.
Right.
And I'm just that to me was worth every penny, because I paid a few bucks out this year for a couple plants, and I'm not going to do it again.
Right. So how is that new blue tip? You using
It worked great last weekend. Last Saturday I used it. It was perfect. I liked it.
So I had a couple extra, and I was like, "Here you go." I gave him one of the adjustable nozzles, and I was like, "This makes life a lot easier." So
On the roof too, changing the J rod out, it's not always the best thing.
no, that way all you got to do is turn it
Absolutely.
and go with it.
The only learning curves there, turning left or right.
Yeah, and figure out which way is the right way.
Yep.
Awesome. So one last thing: any words of encouragement for new guys?
From me,
Yep, from you.
guys, just dig in. I mean, you can hear all this information, and you can do all the research and everything. I mean, don't be scared. Go do it. It's still, you're going to see jobs. Don't be scared of jobs. Plan accordingly. Don't try to fill your schedule too much when the phone does start ringing. Give yourself enough time to do those jobs. Once you get to the point where you can, work on efficiency and speed, worry about that then. Right now, get jobs booked.
I love that. Just do it.
Just do it. You don't have. It doesn't take 3 months of YouTube research to learn how to clean a house. Figure out what a downstreamer is. Have a machine that can run off your downstreamer, and go out and do it. I mean, that's the best way you're going to learn.
And are you going to fail? Probably.
You'll make mistakes.
Are you going to learn?
Just not big ones.
Yeah, you're going to learn.
Learn the first time you make the mistake.
Yep. Awesome. So hang on, Brian. I'll close out here. But again, I am having training in Raleigh, North Carolina with Donovan. Donovan is going to do $500,000 in gutter cleaning. He's going to do $250,000 in Christmas lights. And so we're doing a training together. You can go check out that training at King of Pressure Washing if you just want the pressure washing or the Christmas lights or both. It is not just that, but we will be doing hands-on, ladder safety. We're going to do lift training. We're going to do a lot of things that I don't normally do in my own classes, because where he has lifts and stuff like that. So if you've never been on a lift and you want some lift training, if you've never thought about doing gutter cleaning, he shows all his tips and tricks of how to do, a gutter cleaning in about 10 minutes. And so that is definitely something you will want to not miss. So go check out kingofpressurewash.com/training. I'd like to keep it to about 10 people. We're a few away from that, 1 or 2 away from that. So go check it out, and that way you will not want to miss it. We'll see you then.